Do you remember when Prince Harry said this last week?
Beginning of 2020, I was scored the highest as far as risk was concerned, and then overnight I was reduced to the lowest.
Tom Bower just dropped the most devastating revelation about Prince Harry that nobody saw coming. The royal biographer who wrote Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors has exposed shocking doorbell camera footage that shows Harry literally begging strangers for help on London streets. In the timing, absolutely brutal. This happened just days after Harry stood in court claiming he was too unsafe to walk British streets without armed police protection. We're not talking about a confused tourist asking for directions. This is a desperate man who has burned so many bridges that he's reduced to knocking on random doors, hoping someone will take pity on him.
Oh, boo-hoo. Yeah, that's when he was complaining after losing a court appeal demanding British taxpayers fund his security on visits to the UK. He lost the case, of course, because he and Meghan chose to step away from the royal family and embark on a life of celebrity in America.
The footage shows Harry wandering half a mile between houses, looking completely lost and helpless, while a housekeeper didn't even recognize the supposedly world-famous prince who claims to need constant protection. Tom Bower's reaction to this footage was absolutely savage. He called Harry a desperately sad man and suggested this incident proves that Harry's entire security court case was never about safety. It was about embarrassing his father and destroying the monarchy from within. According to Bower, Harry knew he wasn't going to win the case. The whole thing was just another attempt at emotional blackmail against King Charles. But here's what makes this story absolutely devastating. Within hours of this humiliating footage going public, the Sussex PR machine went into overdrive. Suddenly, Meghan was posting loved-up photos from a Beyoncé concert, showing Harry looking happy and carefree. Bower dismissed this as classic media manipulation, but the timing revealed something much darker.
But as a reminder, he went whinging to the BBC about how he can only come to the UK if he's officially invited, which would give him a security team.
A man so desperate to control the narrative that he'll stage happiness while his credibility crumbles in real time. Tom Bower's analysis of this incident cut straight to the heart of Harry's psychological state. According to the royal biographer, this wasn't just about Harry getting lost or having an old address. The footage revealed a man so isolated, so disconnected from his former life, that he didn't even know his close friends had moved. We're talking about John and Georgina Vaughan, people close enough that Harry expected to stay with them during his London visit. Bower pointed out the cruel irony. Harry had spent years attacking the very institution and relationships that would have prevented this humiliation. A working royal would never find themselves wandering strange streets looking for help. They have private secretaries, security teams, advanced planning, and a support network that ensures these situations simply don't happen.
Where does this leave things moving forward? The ability of your children to see their grandfather?
You know, life is a precious thing, and I'm acutely aware of the fragility of that.
The doorbell camera footage shows Harry in a blue suit, phone pressed to his ear, looking genuinely confused and helpless as he approaches a random house. When the housekeeper answered, she didn't even recognize him. Think about that for a second. This is supposedly one of the most famous men in the world, someone who claims he needs armed protection because he's so recognizable, and a London housekeeper had no idea who he was. But Bower's most devastating observation was about the distance Harry traveled between wrong addresses. According to residents, he knocked on houses at completely opposite ends of the road, which is about half a mile long. This wasn't a simple mix-up. This was a man wandering aimlessly, desperately hoping someone would help him because he had no backup plan and no support system. The timing made everything worse. This footage emerged just 1 week after Harry lost his final court appeal and gave that bitter BBC interview claiming his father won't speak to me because of this security stuff. While he was publicly painting himself as a victim, he was privately comfortable enough to dismiss his security team and wander around London, begging strangers for assistance.
I can only come to the UK safely if I'm invited.
Well, surprise, surprise. It turns out Prince Harry is a massive raging hypocrite, Take a look at this picture obtained by the Sun newspaper today.
Bauer's reaction to the doorbell footage was nothing short of brutal. He didn't just criticize Harry's behavior, he diagnosed it as symptomatic of a much deeper crisis. According to Bauer, Harry has become desperately sad and pretty incompetent above everything else, unable to manage even basic tasks like finding a friend's house without creating a public spectacle. But Bauer's most cutting analysis focused on Harry's motivations for the security court case. He argued that Harry knew from the beginning that he wasn't going to win. The real purpose wasn't to get security. It was to embarrass King Charles and damage the monarchy. It was about all the time, me, and Meghan, Bauer explained, painting Harry as someone so narcissistic that he was willing to drag his own family through the courts just to maintain his victim narrative. Bauer also highlighted the emotional blackmail aspect of Harry's strategy. By claiming that security concerns prevented him from bringing his children to visit their grandfather during his cancer treatment, Harry was essentially holding King Charles hostage. The message was clear: give me what I want or you'll never see your grandchildren again. The royal biographer noted that this pattern mirrors what Harry's mother, Princess Diana, did to Charles during their marriage breakdown. The difference is that Diana was fighting for her children's welfare during a messy divorce, while Harry is fighting for commercial advantages while claiming to protect his family's safety. Bauer's assessment of Harry's current mental state was particularly harsh. He suggested that Harry feels completely isolated from Britain and is looking for company because he's realized he made a terrible mistake by leaving.
It's the Duke of Sussex himself, pictured on a doorbell camera, calling at houses in a London street as he looked for a friend's home. Harry, who has always insisted he feels unsafe without armed cops.
The doorbell footage was evidence of Harry's growing desperation to reconnect with his former life, even though he's burned too many bridges to make that possible. Tom Bauer was particularly scathing about the Sussex response to the doorbell scandal. Within hours of the footage going public, Meghan posted a series of loved-up photos from Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter concert, showing Harry looking happy and relaxed. Bauer dismissed this as brilliant media manipulation designed to distract from the humiliating reality of Harry's London wanderings. The Beyoncé photos were particularly strategic because they showed Harry wearing a personalized cowboy hat with his children's names embroidered inside, along with "My Love" and flags representing Britain, America, and Africa. It was a not so subtle reminder of Harry's royal heritage, military service, and charitable work, all wrapped up in a seemingly casual fashion accessory. Bauer pointed out the fundamental contradiction in these posts. While Harry was claiming in court that he felt too unsafe to bring his family to Britain, here he was at a massive public event in Los Angeles, photographed by fans, posted about on social media, with no apparent security concerns whatsoever. The contrast couldn't have been more damaging to his credibility. According to Bauer, the most telling aspect of the PR response was how quickly it pivoted from Harry's security concerns to their celebrity lifestyle. Just days after claiming he couldn't safely visit his cancer-stricken father, Harry was comfortable enough to attend concerts and post about date nights. The message was clear. The security concerns were manufactured for legal and emotional leverage, not genuine safety fears. Bauer's analysis of how this incident affects Harry's family relationships was particularly devastating. He noted that Harry's use of his children as emotional weapons against King Charles represents blackmail that's causing immense pain to a man dealing with cancer treatment. The royal biographer pointed out that Charles is not well and being treated for cancer, yet Harry is using that vulnerability as leverage. By claiming that security concerns prevent him from bringing Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to visit their grandfather, Harry is essentially punishing Charles for refusing to give in to his demands.
For me, Harry's making a deliberate decision to keep his children away from the king, and it's a big crying shame. 22 bombshell, revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the war between the Windsors. Tom, good evening, nice to see you. What do you make of this picture? I mean, I opened the Sun newspaper this morning, I just couldn't believe my eyes.
But the doorbell footage completely undermined Harry's position. If he was comfortable walking around London alone, then his claims about being unable to bring his family to Britain were clearly manufactured. The footage proved that security wasn't the real barrier. Harry's unwillingness to compromise was the actual problem. Bauer noted that King Charles had only met Princess Lilibet once, during the Platinum Jubilee celebrations in 2022. Harry's weaponization of the children represented perhaps the cruelest aspect of this ongoing family war, especially given the timing during his father's illness. Tom Bauer's most damning assessment was that this incident represents Harry's point of no return, the moment when his credibility became so damaged that rehabilitation became virtually impossible. The footage crystallized years of growing skepticism about Harry's victim narrative and his claims about leaving royal life. Bauer emphasized that you cannot credibly claim you're too unsafe to walk British streets without armed protection while simultaneously being filmed walking British streets without any protection at all. The contradiction was so obvious that it called into question everything else Harry had said. According to Bauer, this credibility crisis has immediate practical implications for Harry's future. His media deals had been based partly on his value as someone who could provide authentic insights from a position of moral authority. But authenticity and moral authority were exactly what the Doorbell incident had undermined. The royal expert noted that the Sussex brand had been built on royal status plus victim narrative. They were important because they were royal, but sympathetic because they had been mistreated. The Doorbell footage didn't diminish their royal status, but it seriously damaged the victim narrative by proving at least some of their complaints were manufactured. Bauer's final assessment was particularly brutal. Harry has transformed from a beloved prince into someone whose every claim will now be viewed through the lens of someone who was caught apparently misleading courts and the public. The Doorbell camera footage didn't just capture a moment of confusion. It captured the complete collapse of Harry's carefully constructed post-royal identity. Tom Bauer's revelation about Prince Harry's desperate street wanderings represents more than just an embarrassing moment. It's the smoking gun that destroys years of manufactured victimhood and exposes the tragic reality of what Harry has become. A man so isolated by his own choices that he's reduced to begging strangers for help, while claiming he's too important to visit his own country safely. So, what do you think about Tom Bauer's brutal assessment of Harry's Doorbell camera disaster? Do you believe this footage finally exposes the truth about Harry's manufactured security concerns? Or do you think there's still a way for him to rebuild his credibility? Has this incident permanently damaged his relationship with the royal family, especially given that he's using his children as leverage while apparently knowing his safety claims were exaggerated? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found Tom Bauer's devastating analysis as eye-opening as I did, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.